Let's be honest. A lot of people think they have a money problem, but you don't have a money problem, you have a behavior problem. You scroll through your feed and see guys driving leased cars, wearing designer fits, and posting hustle quotes like they've already won. But if you actually track their bank accounts, most of them are drowning in invisible debt. They're not wealthy. They're just really good at hiding the leak. And here's the hard part. A lot of us are doing the exact same thing. We buy things we can't afford to impress people we don't even like, then wonder why we're stressed every single time a bill drops. You don't have a cash flow problem. You have an identity problem. It's not about your salary. It's about what you're trying to prove to yourself and everyone around you. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly why rich-looking people stay financially weak, and I'll give you a simple system to quietly build actual wealth without broadcasting it. Let's get into it. What's one thing you bought just to feel like you finally made it? Drop it below. No judgment, just honesty. This is where people get themselves in trouble. They think wealth is just a math equation. They wait for the perfect budget, the right side hustle, or the next raise to finally fix everything. But the real issue here is psychology. Bad money habits don't show up as dramatic crashes. They show up as slow leaks, emotional spending when you're stressed, lifestyle inflation the second you get a bump in pay, scrolling past people doing better and feeling like you need to catch up immediately. You start buying to feel better, buying to look successful, buying to quiet the insecurity that tells you you're falling behind. And before you know it, you're making decent money, but living like you make double. Meanwhile, the quiet guy who drives a 5-year-old car tracks his net worth in a simple spreadsheet, says no to half the invites, is actually compounding freedom while you're financing an image. This isn't about guilt. It's about pattern recognition. Once you see how the psychology works, you can finally stop funding your own stagnation. The first trap is insecurity spending. And the quietest wealth killer out there. You felt this. You get a decent paycheck, but instead of letting it sit and work, you feel this weird pressure to upgrade your image. New sneakers, premium dining, upgrading your tech, even though the old one works fine. It feels harmless in the moment because you tell yourself you're investing in yourself or networking. But let's call it what it is. You're buying external proof that you're winning. Psychologically, it's a shortcut. Instead of doing the slow, boring work of building actual confidence, skills, and real results, you hand over cash for a temporary badge of success. It feels good for about 3 days. Then the statement arrives. You trade long-term leverage for short-term applause. The future you pays for it with stress, debt payments, and zero margin when real opportunities show up. The fix is brutally simple. Create a hard separation between your survival budget and your identity budget. Give yourself a fixed, realistic amount for image-related spending each month. When it's gone, it's gone. You don't borrow against next month. You don't put it on credit. You force yourself to get creative with your actual personality instead of financing a costume. The second pattern is a scarcity mindset disguised as optimism. This is when you overcommit to fixed costs because you're banking on a raise, a promotion, or a side hustle that hasn't materialized yet. You sign a lease you can't comfortably afford. You lock into expensive subscriptions and premium memberships. You tell yourself you'll tighten up next quarter. The psychology here is present bias. Your brain would rather feel secure and comfortable right now than face the temporary discomfort of living below your means. But here's what that does to your future. It leaves you with zero margin. Every single extra dollar gets swallowed by overhead. You don't have an emergency fund. You don't have dry powder to jump on a real opportunity. You're trapped on a treadmill, working just to keep the illusion running. The whole point here is that flexibility is the actual currency of wealth. If you have no buffer, you have no options. The fix is a hard cap on your fixed expenses. Keep housing, transport, and baseline subscriptions under 35% of your take-home pay. Before you upgrade your lifestyle, build a 1-month cash buffer. Sit on it. Feel how it changes your posture. When you stop overcommitting to your image, you finally have room to breathe and grow. Then there's comfort addiction, and it usually shows up as the "I had a hard week, so I deserve this" loop. You grind, you stress, you put in the hours, and instead of resetting with something that actually restores you, you reset with a transaction. Takeout you didn't need. Drinks that drain the wallet. A weekend trip booked on credit. The psychology is straightforward. Retail therapy is dopamine replacement. It's faster and easier than actually fixing the root cause of your burnout, which usually means changing your habits, your boundaries, or your routine. But here's the cost. You create chronic financial leakage. You never build momentum. You stay financially fragile because you're treating money like a pacifier instead of a tool. You're paying for comfort you could have engineered for free. This is what keeps people stuck. You train yourself to believe that progress is exhausting and must be immediately cashed out. The fix requires friction. Start logging your emotional state before any non-essential purchase. Stressed, tired, feeling invisible? Acknowledge it. Then force a 24-hour hold. Walk outside. Lift something heavy. Read a chapter. Do anything that doesn't require a swipe. If you still want it tomorrow, buy it. 9 times out of 10, the urge evaporates. You're not broken. You're just reaching for the wrong reset button. Swap the swipe for a system that actually refuels you. and watch your savings compound without feeling deprived. The final trap is the self-sabotage that hits right after progress. You finally pay off a credit card, you land a raise, you hit a small milestone, and suddenly you blow it on a reward purchase. You tell yourself it's celebration. Psychologically, it's identity lag. Your brain hasn't caught up to your new reality yet, so it reverts to the old baseline. The old you doesn't know what to do with extra money, so it spends it to feel normal. You trade long-term freedom for a temporary pat on the back. The future cost is massive. You delay investing, you miss compounding windows, you train yourself to believe that money disappears the second it touches your account. The fix is mechanical. Automate your progress. The second extra money hits your account, route 50% straight to a high-yield savings or index fund before you even see it. Leave the rest visible for 30 days. You can spend it if you want, but you have to sit with it. Let your nervous system adjust to having money in your account instead of watching it disappear. You don't need to prove you made it. You just need to let the math work. So let's lock this in with a practical reset framework you can actually run starting today. Step 1. Pull your last 30 days of transactions and tag every single one. Label them need, growth, or validation. Don't judge them yet. Just get honest. Step 2. Map your emotional triggers. Notice the exact times, moods, and social feeds that make you reach for your wallet. Step 3, slash your validation spending by 70% overnight. I'm not saying live like a monk. I'm saying cut the noise. Step 4, create friction. Delete saved cards from your phone. Turn off one-click checkout. Make yourself physically type in your info. That extra 30 seconds is where impulse dies. Here's the warning. If you don't force friction between your emotion and your checkout button, you will always lose to impulse. No budget survives an unchecked dopamine spike. Step 5, automate the good behavior. Set a payroll split that sends a fixed percentage straight to savings and investing before you ever touch it. Step 6, redirect whatever you freed up into quiet compounding, not louder upgrades. And step 7, tie this to a new identity. Stop calling yourself a guy who's trying to fix his finances. Start acting like a guy who already values his freedom over his image. If I'm being honest, this is the part most people skip. They wait to feel ready instead of acting first. If I were you, I wouldn't overcomplicate this. Just pick 2 triggers, remove them, and let the automation handle the rest. Wealth isn't announced, it's accumulated in silence. And every dollar you spend to look successful is a dollar you steal from your actual future. Look, nobody is going to hand you a manual for this stuff. You either keep financing the image or you start funding your freedom. The shift isn't about making less. It's about wanting something different. Once you stop using money to cover up insecurity, you finally have enough of it to build something real. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.